Welcome back, my fellow game developers. In this video, when we run the game, when we hit the P key, you can see that we have a pause menu. We can either go to the main menu, it works, trust me, or we can resume the game. If we resume the game, we are back in the game. We can also pause this again, and instead of clicking on one of the buttons, we can hit the P key, but we are dead. This is something that we'll also cover in the next video. But for now, let's go ahead and create our pause menu. Okay, so now we want to add the ability for our player to pause the game. Our player, I mean the guy or the girl that's actually playing our game. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's going to be fairly simple. We are going to duplicate the death screen, and this will be the pause screen or pause menu. So pause menu and hit enter, and in here we are going to have everything the same except for the let me turn this on, except for the blood. So first of all, the blood, we don't want the blood. And the pause menu, it will be, let me set it on the 1. So we have the image in here, but we want to make it just a little bit faded so we can see the background. So let's say 0.5. Okay, so we will have it at 0.5, and then we are going to move the restart button. Let me just make this smaller. Move the restart button here, move the main menu here, and instead of restarting the level, which you can keep if you want, but we are going to make this one resume button. So resume button, and in the text in here we'll just resume game. So there we go. Now we have these two buttons. Obviously we'll need to change the functionalities in here, but that's something in a couple of minutes. First of all, let's open up the UI manager, and in here we are going to do a couple of things. First of all, obviously we need a reference, so I'm going to create a serialized field of the game object, which is the pause menu. Save that. But the thing here is, as we've said in the previous video, the UI manager, okay, maybe he does turn on and off the pause menu, but he is not responsible for actually pausing the game. The level manager is the script that is responsible for doing that. So in the level manager, we are going to create a public bool, and we're going to call this the game is paused. And obviously I don't want to make it public, but we are going to be using it a lot. You know what, let's not make it public, let's make it a private variable, and we'll create a way to access it. So a public bool is game paused, and we'll just return. So these are sometimes a bit cumbersome. Maybe you're thinking, well, I'm creating a lot of code, but trust me, when you get to the higher levels, to the professional levels, these are essential things to have. You don't want your game to be easily corruptible through the code. So now that we have the game is paused, in the UI manager we have the pause menu. We obviously want to access, in some way change the pause menu. So I'm going to create a method in here that is going to say that public void turn pause menu on off, and it will take in a boolean which is going to be the on off. And I know this is not the best way to represent the variable, but anyways, let's continue on. You'll see what I mean. So in here we're just going to go ahead and get the pause menu dot set active to on off. So now we go back into the level manager, and in here we are going to create a public void pause resume game. And what we'll do in here is we're going to check if we are not in the game paused, so we haven't paused yet, then we'll access the UI manager dot instance dot pause turn pause menu on and off, And what shall we set it? Well, we will set it to true. Because if we are not in a paused game, when we press some kind of key, then we want to turn on the pause menu. And else, that means if we haven't paused the game, so if we are in a paused game, then we are going to do the same in here, but instead we are going to turn it off. And this will go to the UI manager, access this one, and turn it off. So with that out of the way, there is something that we still need to do, and that is actually turn or change this game as paused using some kind of button. And this is going to be your challenge to resume the game using some kind of key. So check for inputs, and when pressed, we should call the method and resume game or pause the game, and make sure to change the status of the game. So if it's paused or if it's not anymore. So pause the video right now and go create an input. Okay, welcome back. So where do you want to put it? I think up here. So in update, we are going to check if input dot get key down and a key code for P. Then we are going to pause, resume the game. It's that simple. And then in here, if we haven't paused the game, so if the game is not paused, we click the P key, we turn on. So the turn on, turn off is true. So in here, we are going to say that the game is paused is equal to true. And duplicate this and move this down here. False. Save that. So let's test this out. I hope I didn't make a mistake with the false and true. No, I believe it's correct. So in the resume button, and we're going to add something in here, which is the UI canvas. And in here, we are going to go to the UI manager. We are going to find turn pause menu on off. And as you can see, we have the option to add either true or false. And this is the actual Boolean right here that turns on or off the pause menu. So back in our game in here, let's first of all turn off the pause menu, run the game. So in here we hit the P key. We can go back to the main menu. We can also hit the P key, then hit the P key back, and then we turn off the pause menu. There we go. But there is still one thing, which is the resume button. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the on-click event in here. And I'm going to break my own rule of adding the level manager from the managers. Everybody right now is like, oh, what? No, don't break the rules. But yes, I am. So I'm going to go into the restart, pause, resume game. So run the game. And now we are going to press the key, resume the game, and everything works fine. But as you can see, if I pause the game, I can still walk around, I can still shoot enemies, and I can still die. Now, if you want to create a Dark Souls-esque type of pausing in the game, where the game continues in the background and you just sit there helplessly trying to figure out what's happening in the menu, be my guest. If not, if you want the world to stop, then continue on into the next video. But before we do that, obviously we'll need to commit our changes. So see you then.